Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the No Limit Selling Podcast. And today we have the mother of dragons. No, not the mother of dragons. What was it again? Hey, Clara Capano,
Hello.
welcome
I
to the
do love
program.
dragons, so I'll take that one too.
Yeah, she was the best character out of the whole thing and an empowered woman.
Very much so.
So tell us the title of your book before we get started.
Yes, my latest book is called The Mother of All Success Manual. So it is a guidebook for working moms to help them control their time, lose the guilt, and find work-life harmony.
Love it. Hold on just one second. We'll be right back. The No Limit Selling Podcast, where mindset meets sales and leadership. So my understanding of guilt is anger directed at oneself.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
women tend to be masters at that, especially when it comes to kids. It's
Mhm.
like a guy, drop off the kids, have a nice day at school, kids, and off you go. And it's like, forgotten.
Very true.
Not that they don't care about them, but it's just a different
It's
relationship.
different. It's a
And
different relationship, and it's a different programming that has been around for eons.
and of course, for women, it's like I should be there for them, and I should be a better mother, and I should be this.
Right.
So tell me a story about guilt and how you helped one of the people you coach to overcome that guilt and just kind of reframe what's going on so they could be better moms and better businesswomen.
Absolutely. So, I heard a saying one time and for mothers that we're supposed to mother as if we don't work and work as if we don't mother. And there's this constant dichotomy going on because we always feel guilty and like we're letting somebody down. I have so many of the people that I work with that do this, and I always bring them back to remembering their why, because for most of us, our why is all about service to others, whether it's taking care of our clients, taking care of our families. And the biggest thing I see is when it comes to self-care. That's the largest area that I think people, not just women, but people feel so guilty. They're like, "Oh, I'm taking time out of my day to go do something for me when I could be working more on this. I should be doing more of this." And we have to remember that the best way for us to be able to take care of others is when we are full. So, really working with people to just change their mindset around self care. And that self care really is the most selfless thing you can do, because it's all about making sure that you are full and not depleted so that you can truly show up and be the best. And when I started to learn this, even for myself, I became a better mom. I became better at what I do as a speaker, as a coach, as a trainer, because it allows you to really be present where you need to be.
What's in one of my workshops, I have somebody come up from the audience and it's like, okay, tell me like what it feels like when you are supporting all these people around you. And as they're telling the story, of course, they start hunching over and the shoulders cave in a bit. And I say, excellent. Just stay there for a moment. And I put my arm on their shoulder and lean on them. And of course, since they're not erect, they start caving in even more. And I said,
Right.
okay, now take a deep breath, stand up tall and proud, and put a smile on your face. Then when they're like that, I can put my elbow on their shoulder and press down, and they can handle it without any effort whatsoever. And that's a really good kinesthetic way for them to go, oh
Mhm.
yeah, when I don't look after myself, I have the illusion that I'm helping at the highest level, but I'm not. And
Exactly.
sometimes it takes that metaphor that really gets people to kind of go, okay, I got it.
Exactly. And I was just speaking with someone this morning, just a good friend of mine, and she lives in a different state, and we were emailing back and forth, and she's working on a big project, and she says, even though I know that this is going to bring me more of that harmony and balance, right now it's a lot, and just reminded her, remember what you're working towards, but don't lose sight of today. Even if all you have is 15 minutes to give yourself some time. And her response was, "Thank you so much for that reminder. I just blocked out time to just go for a walk in between everything. And I know that that's what I need to help me clear my head, to regain my energy, and to just get myself grounded again."
So one of the smartest women I know is my wife, and I'm trying to get brownie points here. Did you hear that, honey? She's not there, by
Yes,
the way.
exactly.
And so we were visiting some friends in San Francisco, and they've got a basement apartment that they've been Airbnb-ing. And my wife suggested, you need to just rent it out. It's got a permanent tenant there. And whatever the rent is, $1,900, whatever that number is, you need to take $300 of it each month and put aside for you.
Hmm.
for workshops you want to do, for spa days, and the rest of the money, put it into the family budget. And number one, I'm sure that created a lot of guilt. But the whole concept was when you're stronger, when you're braver, when
Hmm.
you're a whole person, you're there more strongly for your family and your
Absolutely.
business.
Absolutely. And one of my favorite analogies is in looking even at the human body. We look at all the organs that are in our body and the heart. The job of the heart is to pump blood to all the other organs.
Hmm.
But what organ does the heart pump blood to first? It's itself. Because if the heart is not strong enough, it won't be able to pump blood to the rest of the body. And I think what a great analogy again for us, whether it's in our families, our organizations, whatever it is, if we want our families, our companies, our clients, our team, if we want them to be healthy, it starts with us being healthy first.
See, Clara, you were just totally wrong there because the blood pumps blood to the brain first was my reaction. But when you said to heart, it's like, oh, it does. That's so brilliant, so overlooked.
Yeah, it's true because we have to be able to, we have to operate at our optimal level, and we can't do that when we're burned out or depleted.
So let's take a look at. So maybe you can help me out, Clara. I'll be leading a panel of business owners in about on the 21st of February, and we'll be talking about being a woman, being a successful businesswoman, and a mom, and all that stuff. So, what are some of the topics I should bring up? Like when you're coaching people, what are the 3 areas that women need to focus on?
Well, one of them is time blocking. And what I teach people to do when they're putting their weekly plan together, the very first thing that goes into their schedule needs to be themselves. It needs to
Mm.
be their life and those things, because the number one reason that we get burned out and don't have a life is because we don't plan for it. So I think again, changing, that and making sure that we're blocking time out, and all of that becomes an appointment, and we stand by our appointments.
Hold
So
that
I think
thought.
that's
And if you
one.
don't block it and you put that in, it's not going to happen. The best of intentions
Mhm, mhm.
don't work. So, one, time blocking. What's number two?
Exactly. I think the second one is strong communication, setting expectations and communicating with your family, with your clients, with your team, about how it's going to work, letting them know this is where I need to be. This is when I'm available. This is when I'm not going to be available, because you have to have your team, which includes your family, on point with you. And I realize, especially for moms, if they have little ones, it's sometimes hard to communicate that, but you still can. I know that I started sharing my weekly plan with my son when he was about 8 years old. So again, we could go over it together because I need that support, and we all need to be working together because again, it's a part of a bigger picture. So
And the
making
other
sure to
thing to
communicate.
Other thing to add to that is this. So I'm going to take a tangent here for a moment. A lot of times when I work with organizations, one of the fundamental things that's missing is roles and responsibilities,
Mhm.
where people have no idea what the other person does, but they have a
Yes.
good idea that they're goofing off half the time. And when they realize, it's like, oh my God, I had no idea this is what you actually did.
Mhm.
When moms do that and let the family know, I've got this meeting, then I'm doing this, I'm doing this, then all of a sudden they go, oh my God,
Mhm.
she is a superwoman and doing this amazing stuff. And I think that's a brilliant suggestion. What's number 3?
Number 3 is master the art of saying no. And, I think this is something that brings back to the guilt, because we want to be there, we want to be helpful, but the reality is you can't get everything done, nor should you want to do everything. But learning how to say no in a kinder way, such as, I would love to help you with that. However, I already have a prior commitment that day. That's saying no, saying to something to the effect of, that sounds like an amazing opportunity. I'm not able to commit to that right now, but keep me in mind should it come across again. And one of the things that helps so many of the people that I work with is before they agree to say yes to something, they have to run through a couple questions. So it's the checks and balances. So before you say yes to a new thing, asking yourself, does this make good business sense?
Mm.
If I agree to do this, is this in alignment with my overall goals and vision? And the third one, if I say yes to this new thing, what is it I have to say no to? Because that will help you again gain the clarity of if it's something that you really should commit to at that time or pass on.
Brilliant. I was interviewing this woman. She was executive assistant to the CEO. And usually that's the number two person in the company that no one knows exists, or they take them for granted. And what this woman would do brilliantly is the CEO would say, "Oh, you need to do this." And it's like, absolutely 100%. I'm going to get right on it. What would you like me to take off my plate?
Yes.
And that way, putting it
Brilliant.
back to that person, then they kind of go, then they become your collaborator in problem solving. And they also realize that, you've got 12 things on your plate. I can't give something else, or no, this is most important. Let's take these off. And that way you don't have to be the one that decides. And it also makes it a collaboration in figuring out that solution.
Exactly. Because again, we have to be able to work together and we have to be able to communicate. And this is where problems happen, is when we don't have that open dialogue, that open communication. And, nobody is a super person. Last time I checked, my cape was, in the shop. And, we have to be able to be transparent and be able to have that level of honesty with each other. If I could throw a fourth thing, you asked me three things. If I could throw a fourth one in, it goes back to the time blocking, but it's also be honest with the time that you have. So many of us make commitments when we don't have the time commitment. So looking at your week and being honest, what are my hours of operation this week? Because if I truly only have 25 hours to give to my business world this week, don't set yourself up with 40 hours worth of work. You can't do it. So again, just getting that clarity and that, honesty for yourself.
Absolutely. So I had a mentor many moons ago, and he had said, okay, put a Post-it note on your monitor that has three things. Number one, will this activity make me money? For entrepreneurs. And if the answer is no, go to number two. Will this enhance the customer relationship so it leads to more money? And number three was delegate it or kill it. And it seemed a nice, simple test. And I'm putting your four questions there, and being habitual about it, I think makes for a much healthier, more productive, not only person, but unit, whether it's a business unit or a family unit.
Exactly. And again, it's about creating those healthy boundaries, those healthy relationships, both personally and professionally. And it's not about being everywhere. It's about when you're someplace, let's be present. Let's really have that deep connection and, give the other person the acknowledgement that we are there truly for them.
So one of the things that happens is we tend to be siloed. And, I'm doing this by myself. And one of the things you have is a group of women that get together. That way you actually have a sisterhood that basically you can get courage and then strength from the other members. So tell us about your group, Clara.
Yeah, so I just launched it in January. It's called the Lioness League, and it's exactly for that. It's a way that my whole vision was community, and I want to be able to build a safe place where people can get accessible and affordable training and community. So what I do is I have short trainings, 5 to 7 minutes long. I have a whole portal of exclusive training where we get down and into it right away because we're busy. And it's a free form of master classes with other experts in the field of mindsets, productivity, and leadership. And just a way where we can network together, share ideas, and all grow stronger. And it really is open to everyone. It's not just women, even though it's called the Lioness League, it's for everyone, because I feel that we can truly learn. And, it's only $7 a month. How many things can we blow money on in $7 a day? But to get really good quality, direct strategies from experts and also build that community, to me, it was a no-brainer. And it's just my heart space. And it's something that I really want to be able to give to the world and hope that people enjoy.
Nice. And just to put it in perspective, that insanely high price of $7, I was at LAX, walked by a Burger King, and a Whopper, fries, and a drink at LAX airport was $19.22.
Exactly. So
Soon
let's
to be
find
forgotten.
things that are truly going to nourish us. Let's find things that are going to nourish our soul, our mind, our energy, and again, make us better and share, collaborate.
Okay, so let's get into, I'm going to pick 5 areas where women struggle.
Okay.
I'm making these up as I go along, remembering, so help me out here, Clara. Number 1 is not speaking up in meetings because just social norms. So talk about that.
Yeah.
A, does that happen? And B, how can we overcome it?
Yes, it does. And I want to just put this under the umbrella of fear, because oftentimes this is the fear of speaking up. It's the fear of, oh, do I really have anything to add? What are people going to think of me? All these things. We have to go back to defining what fear really is. In our brains, and sorry to get a little scientific, there is this part of our brain, and it's called the reticular activating system. And basically, what it is a filter system. And it's our programs, and it sets us up to either connect with things that we want, we value, and love, or it will connect us things with things that we don't want, that we fear, and could be potential threats to us. When we are in a scarcity mindset, we go down the path of fear. So, what one of my mentors told me is focus on the value. Because when you focus on, are you truly delivering value? You don't have to be afraid. So, asking yourself, am I speaking up just because I want to hear myself talk? Or am I speaking up because what I have to say is truly going to bring value to the group? If it's going to bring value, you have an obligation to speak up. So take it from that place of scarcity to abundance, and knowing that you're speaking with purpose, and again, in a way to bring true value.
Brilliant. And I think very much if you can take a look at that ego piece
Mm-hmm.
and help deal with that a little bit, then I think that helps. And what you said at the end was quite brilliant, that I have an obligation to this organization to speak up.
Yeah.
And one of the other things to do is, if it's a meeting that meets regularly, just say, hi, my name is Umar, and sometimes a little shy in sharing ideas. So when I go to share, could you guys just kind of encourage me? And no
Mm-hmm.
one's going to go, oh my God, what a loser. People want to help.
They do.
Although people that know me say, Umar, you're a loser, but I need new friends
I'm
where
sure
I
that's not
really
true.
do.
But I think also when you're more purposeful in
Mm.
your shares, people listen more than just, oh, they just want to talk to hear themselves talk.
All right, so that's one. The other one is, on occasion, Clara, I am assertive. And if you did the same thing, you would be a bitch. So
Mm-hmm.
that just societal norm, how do you get men and women to kind of address that and overcome that? Because none of that is true
Right.
in reality, but we deem it to be true.
Exactly. I think part of it goes back to what we just talked about with the value. Again, you got to let go of what other people think and know that you're delivering value. So, one, working with that. The other thing is, I think every time you bring something up, try to bring it back to why it's going to benefit them. So, if you're talking in a group and you're speaking up, why is what you're sharing going to benefit the group? Because if they can understand how it's going to bring that value, how it's going to benefit them, they're going to have more buy-in, and you're not going to be as assertive as you are more, wow, they really want to help.
Brilliant. So, what's another thing where women struggle with?
We talked about the time, so I think we've covered that. I think the other thing that women struggle with is sometimes this idea, and I think men struggle with this too, of being vulnerable and asking for help.
Hmm.
For many years, there were so few seats at the table. So women had to be strong. They had to have so much of that male energy and shove all that other emotion down. And I think now we're starting to open up a little bit, and more understanding that when we speak from the heart, it's actually a place of strength. When we are saying, hey, I need help in doing this, can I enlist your help? Or even the delegating, you know what? You are a better expert at this than I am. So I think, understanding that, coming from this place of asking for help, of being a little bit more transparent, is not a sign of weakness, but it's a sign of strength. And also it's a sign of community and being able to bring the best of the best together. And I think that's something that women are really good at. Again, not that men aren't, but I think that women, because we have this innate nurturing inside of us, we build in a little bit more of that community. So I think remembering that it's okay. I know that after my son was born, I went through postpartum, and I had a lot of that, of I can't let them see behind the curtain, because they're not going to be able to trust me. They're going to think they can't count on me. And that's when I went into a deep spiral of more depression and, burnout and all of those things. And as I started to speak up, as I started to say, this is what's going on and I need some help, it was amazing, the flood of support and other women who were like, oh my gosh, I do that too. And so I think, again, there is more power in speaking up and asking for help than there is on the other side.
Absolutely. So do you have any children?
I do. I now have an 18-year-old son.
Okay. So if you had an 18-year-old daughter going off to university and starting her life, what's one thing that you'd want her to know? One thing that could actually be that talisman that would allow her to navigate into becoming the most powerful woman that she's destined to become?
Oh, it's hard to bring it down to just one. From a productivity standpoint, I would say incremental change. Do the little things each and every day that build up to the big things. So those are some of the things from a productivity standpoint. I would really work with her on mindset.
Mm,
Again, really working with developing a strong mindset and a strong sense of worthiness, and, bringing that in and letting her know she matters. So again, cultivating these things. I would really hone in on, chasing your dreams, that we have to chase our dreams. It always comes together. So don't force things. I think I became an adult too soon. I was that little girl, that overachiever that, wanted to be adult, and
mm.
man, adulting's not all it's cracked up to be. So again, live, have fun, bring it in, but make smart decisions. And again, really look at the overall, and just be aware of what's around you.
Brilliant. Clara, thank you so much for being on the program.
My pleasure.
And we're going to put all the information on how to get a hold of you in the show notes. So if you're listening on a treadmill, uh, look at the iPhone and you'll find how to get a hold of Clara. Any last words before we part company, Clara?
I just want to thank you. What you're doing is bringing so much awareness to really timely and important items. So thank you for creating a platform for all of us to be able to share and learn. And I just want to let everybody out there, man, woman, and everybody in between, just that, what, give yourself some grace, believe in yourself, and love yourself. If you trust yourself, if you follow your heart, you'll never go wrong.
Brilliant. Great advice. Clara, I'm going to end the stream here and let's talk post-stream.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this episode, please go to iTunes and leave a 5-star rating. And if you're looking for more tools, go to my website at nolimitselling.com. I've got a free mind training course there that's going to teach you some insights from the world of neuro-linguistic programming, and that is the fastest way to get better results.